I'm so glad I called up my buddy Ed the other day. He's a friend of mine from high school, and last week, out of the blue, he hit me up in a text message. I've been meaning to get in touch with him for a while, and it was so great to have the chance to catch up with him.
Welcome to another Happy English podcast coming to you from New York City. And here's your English teacher, Michael.
All right, thank you, John, and thanks, everyone. It's Michael here from Happy English, and I help people speak English better. And this is Happy English Podcast, episode 794, Phrasal Verbs and Other Communication Phrases. You know, using phrasal verbs is a great way to make your English conversation sound more natural. That's why today I want to introduce a couple of phrasal verbs and other expressions that you can use when you talk about communicating with other people. A basic communication tool these days is the phone, and when you phone someone, you call them or you call them up. I called up my cousin yesterday to see how he was doing. And you might be wondering, what's the difference between call and call up? I think in American English, we tend to use call up when the person you want to talk to is a familiar person. Like, I called up my buddy Ed to see if he wanted to have lunch tomorrow. On the other hand, I think we tend to use call when it's not a familiar person. Like, if you go outside in the morning and you find your car was stolen, you might want to call the police. I don't think we would use call up in that situation. Call up is more for casual situations. And speaking of casual situations, you can also hit someone up or hit up someone. Like, I'll be home all day tomorrow, so you can hit me up anytime. Or, when you travel, you can say something like, my flight arrives at 2 o'clock, so I'll hit you up once I get to the hotel. I'll hit you up. By the way, in slang, when you hit someone up, you're asking them for something, and usually that's involving money. Like, it's been more than 2 years since I started working at this company. I think it's time for me to hit my boss up for a raise. When you haven't been in contact with someone for a while, you need to get in touch with them. Get in touch with someone means to contact somebody, and usually somebody that you haven't spoken to in a while. My buddy Steven moved to Florida a year and a half ago, and I was finally able to get in touch with him. Joe plays in a band, and he's always on the road. He's a hard guy to get in touch with. And once you do get in touch with someone, it's time to exchange information about what's been happening in your lives. And when you do that, you catch up with them. Catch up means to exchange information with someone who you haven't spoken to in a while. When you catch up, you hear what's new with them and they hear what's new with you. I had lunch with one of my high school friends at the diner yesterday, and we had so much fun catching up. It was great to catch up with him. And during lunch, he told me that he was in the process of trying to buy a new house. So I told him to keep me posted about that situation. Keep someone posted means to make sure that they are informed with the latest information about something. When you keep someone posted, you're letting them know how the situation is going. There's a good possibility that my friend Paul is actually going to be able to buy that house. So, once he finds out for sure, He's gonna keep me posted. Keep in mind, the best way to remember vocabulary like this and any other word or phrase in English is to take that word or phrase, write it in a sentence that's true for you or true in your world, and then memorize your sentences. Did you know you can get more practice using your English when you join my Podcast Learners Study Group? There, you can make new friends, join us for live group lessons every week where we practice these podcast lessons together. Plus, you get access to the PDF transcript and audio download for every Happy English podcast in the past and in the future. And on top of that, each episode has exercises where you can practice this English point with speaking and writing checked by me. To learn more, just visit myhappyenglish.com and choose podcast lesson 794. Remember, learning another language is not easy, but it's not impossible, and I'm here to help you on your journey.
This podcast was brought to you by Happy English. Please visit myhappyenglish.com. Show your support for Happy English by leaving us a review. Get English, get happy, Happy English.